Most people think that as soon as you sign up a client in week one, you start building automations, funnels, or even start working on their SEO. But I don't do any of that in week one. Hey, my name is Paul Kim, and in this channel, I talk about getting clients with HighLevel, but most importantly, getting clarity before implementing AI and automations. All right, so in today's video, I want to talk about what we should do actually in week one and what people typically do. And so most people typically, as soon as they get a client, they start building immediately because number one is they want to show value to their clients and doing what the client asks of them. But typically, what I see is that the client's problem or what they think is a problem is not necessarily the real problem. So you end up building the wrong thing, solving the wrong issue, and not getting the results that ultimately is what the client wants. So here's a shift, okay, that I would like you to implement in your business. So week one is not about building, but it's about understanding. You're not installing systems. You're trying to understand the business fundamentals. If you skip this step, you're building everything based on assumptions. Some of the stuff that I'm going to talk about is going to refer back to my framework, Local, Local. If you have not watched that video, go take a look. I'll put the link on top as well as in the description. And I'm going to refer to that framework throughout this video. So here are the 3 practical things that I do in week one. Number 1, understand the lead flow. So what do I do exactly in week one? There are 3 things that I look at. Okay, number 1 is I look at the lead flow. And so if you look at my framework, local framework, L stands for local visibility. So you want to check out their visibility and then see where, if there is any break in their visibility in their map, okay, or on their Google Maps. And then O is opt-in. And so are they capturing the leads that are driven by, whether it's Google Maps or to their website or, any opt-ins or landing pages that they have. And if they have a phone number that's readily or clearly visible, right? And you want to make sure that you want to check out making those calls and seeing if they are being captured. And then seeing what happens if you submit or you call and seeing if there is any response thereafter. All right, so step number 2 is you're going to identify breakpoints or gaps in the lead flow, right? And so if they have the Google Business Profile, is the website or calls clearly identified in the Google Business listing? If on their website, are the lead forms, are they broken? Are they working? And if you do submit information through that, is there a response to it? And then number 3, if their phone number is clearly visible on their listing or their website, when you make the calls, is there a response? So you try to identify if there's any follow-up, if at all, and if the follow-up is slow. And so I would go ahead and track those gaps in their lead flow. And then lastly, number 3 is you clarify the problem. And so what does that mean? After identifying the gaps or the breaks in the lead flow, you need to address which one needs to be fixed. And then only after identifying this do I even consider building anything. So let me give you an example of a real story, a recent client that came to us wanting to fix their local SEO for one of their location. And so on its face, it was a simple local SEO problem that we could have fixed. However, after digging in and doing the research or just diagnostic, basically finding out their opt-in form on their website was not working, right? There were a multitude of other issues that they had, but this itself was the number one issue. And so when it comes to their lead generation, which is tied to their revenue, and so once we fixed that, in a matter of 10 days, they got over 20 new opt-ins or leads that's requested information. And so even if we were to fix that local SEO issue, it would not have mattered because there were leaks in their system that wasn't fixed to begin with. So instead of starting with SEO, we started with the foundation. We make sure that the website's working, that the leads are being captured, make sure that nothing is broken. This happened more often than people think. And this is why that I don't start week one in building. Because if I just did what the client would have asked me to do, um, the I would have addressed the location with regard to SEO, but it would not have fixed the problem that the client was asking for and the result that the client was asking for, which is more leads and more revenue in his pocket. So if you're working with clients, don't rush to build. In week one, don't build, don't assume, don't rush to tools. Just try to understand the business clearly, because once you clearly understand the business, the right system become obvious. So once you understand the problem, tools like HighLevel becomes powerful because now you're not guessing what to build. You know what to build specifically for a specific problem. If this way of thinking makes sense to you, go check out my next video on how I diagnose a business in 15 minutes before I implement HighLevel.